Hello, I'm Robert. Welcome to Robert's Guitars and Gear. Today I want to talk about something that's quite common in learners' guitars and budget guitars, guitars that you might start with as a learner. And that is that frequently the neck is not finished very well. One hallmark of really nicer guitars is that the neck has a beautiful, smooth finish. There's different finishes, and that's okay. The finishes that I find most common in these guitars are a satin finish that's intended to be smooth and not glossy, not sticky. Well, this is my Mustang Bullet, and maybe you can hear this. It's okay smooth, but you can hear it's not really smooth. Why is that? Well, when they finish these guitars, they don't have a lot of time. These are mass-produced guitars, and to do what they really need is a little bit time-consuming. So I did some research. There's many great videos out there about doing this. I think in particular Daryl Braun and Philip McKnight go through this process. And so I'm going to do it on this guitar. So I'll give you at the end of this video the after. This is the before. You can't really tell visually. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to take 800 grit sandpaper lightly just to get this finish off. I'm going to use this wipe-on poly. I guess you can't read that, maybe it's backwards. And wipe this on. And if you've ever done this kind of work with polyurethane and wood, it's iterations. So I'm going to do this 6 times, each time to lightly coat, let it dry, which they recommend 4 hours. Come in with a 1200 grit sandpaper, lightly sand to smooth it. And I'm going to do that about 6 times or so. We'll see how it feels. I just did this on a different guitar, which I'll show in a future video. But I'll come back at the end of this video with the final product, and we'll just compare, and I'll let you know how it goes. What have I already done with this Mustang? Well, first step was I used the 800 grit sandpaper to lightly sand off the original finish. Again, lightly, not reshaping this neck. It's just a very, very light sanding to smooth it out. Then I used the liquid polyurethane to rub in a finish on this, again, lightly, not a heavy application of this. We're trying to keep a really nice satin finish. Already, it feels so much better. Now, one more comment. If you have a gloss neck, like a maple neck with a heavy gloss finish, I would not do this. I cannot tell you what will happen with that. That seems like a lot more work. This is really for those kind of satin finishes that are almost like bare wood. Now I'm going to take the 1200 grain or 1200 grit, and I'm just going over again the satin part. I'm not touching the fretboard itself. I'm just going over the parts that I covered with the urethane and just taking this off or smoothing it, and then we're going to put another layer on. And again, it's so smooth. And I'm going to do the other side. So you can see I'm doing this very lightly and very carefully to avoid the fretboard and to also avoid the finish of the guitar. Now, probably ideally you would use blue tape on the guitar body to avoid that. I don't happen to have any blue tape handy today, so I'm not, but I'm being careful. Now I'm going to once again lightly rub in the polyurethane. Not doing this heavy, just light. And I'm, again, staying away from the fretboard, staying away from the body of the guitar. I'm just trying to catch this neck. Literally just a dab of this rub-on poly's enough. And I'm going to let it dry. The instructions say 4 hours. I've been doing a little bit more. And I'm going to sand it off. And I'm going to do that process a total of 6 times, 6 coatings of the polyurethane. After the last coat, I'm going to sand it off with the 2000 grit sandpaper, and that's going to give me a really, really smooth finish. So, how did it come out? Well, after the initial sanding with the 800 grit, and then 6 cycles of the white bond polyurethane, and sanding with the 1200 grit, and then finishing with the 2000, it came out amazing. This $150 Mustang Bullet, great little guitar, but not the world's best neck. Well, this finish is like the most expensive guitar I have. And again, the secret is simply investing a little bit of time. In this case, about 10 minutes, 6 times every 4 hours. So not a lot of time, just the patience. And this neck is amazing. You probably can't see it that great, but the finish is great. It's a wonderful satin finish. If you hear the beginning of the video, it's no scratching whatsoever. It's smooth as glass. So that's how you can take your budget guitar and make it feel like $1 million. I hope this is helpful to you. Let me know in your comments, and have a great day. Thanks.